Hello, friends. If you were born before 1965, there is a new AI-powered scam draining seniors' bank accounts right now, and the FBI just flagged it. In 2025, Americans aged 60 and older reported $352,496,231 in losses tied to AI-related fraud alone. That is 1 year. The scam uses artificial intelligence to clone your family's voices and to impersonate Social Security, Medicare, and the IRS. And the voice, the caller ID, and the badge image can all be faked at the same time. No one screens those calls before they reach you. No agency alerts you that the voice on the line is not real. Today, I am going to show you both versions of this scam, exactly where each one breaks, and the exact words that stop it. Hello, friends. Here is what we are going to do today. I am going to walk you through exactly how this scam works, both versions of it, and exactly where it breaks. Because it does break, every single time at the same point. Grab a pen. I am going to give you the phone numbers, the websites, and the exact words to say out loud if this call ever reaches you or someone you love. At least one of these sections is yours. Family calls, Social Security, Medicare, IRS, or your bank account. Mark the ones that apply. The scam has two faces. One sounds like someone you love. The other sounds like someone with authority. But both versions have exactly one goal: to get you to move your own money or hand over your personal information before you have 60 seconds to think. Subscribe now if you have not already. These scam tactics change fast. The FBI and the FTC issue warnings after patterns emerge, but those warnings do not knock on your door. The people subscribed here find out in time, before the next call lands. Subscribe now and let's get into it. Before we go further, I need to address something, because people hear a warning like this and immediately sort themselves into one of two groups. The first group is comfortable, good savings, a solid portfolio, maybe a paid-off home, and they figure scam warnings are for people who are less informed or less careful. The second group is living on a fixed income, relying on Social Security or Medicare, and they assume scammers only chase people with bigger accounts. Both of those assumptions are wrong about at least one section I am covering today. The comfortable retiree can lose far more because the scam is designed to drain large accounts. But the fixed income retiree is easier to frighten because the script is built around the threat of losing benefits. On every single section, I will tell you exactly which group it hits hardest and why. And stay to the end because the last section is the one that decides whether a terrifying call costs you nothing at all or costs you the money you spent a lifetime building. Now let's get into it. Number 1. The new layer, why a familiar voice is no longer proof. Most people believe they would know their own grandson's voice, or their daughter's voice, or an official from Social Security. They believe that if it sounds real, it probably is real. That assumption is now dangerous. Here is what changed. Criminals are using artificial intelligence to clone real human voices. The FTC warns that a scammer can now take a short audio clip, pulled from a video posted online, a voicemail, a social media clip, and use it to generate a voice that sounds like your loved one. Not close, not similar, it sounds like them. And it is not just voices. The FBI's 2025 report on internet crime flagged AI-enhanced scams as a growing category with staggering losses. In 2025, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, that is called IC3, received 22,364 complaints tied to AI-related fraud. The adjusted losses in those complaints totaled $893,346,472. Now here is the number that should make you stop. Of that total, $352,496,231 in losses were reported by Americans aged 60 and older. Let me slow that down. That is about $29.4 million every month in AI-related losses reported by people over 60. Every month. Who does this hit? Both groups. If you are on a fixed income, a smaller emergency fund can still be wiped out in one phone call. If you are comfortable, AI strips away the one defense you thought you had, the belief that you would recognize the voice. You would not anymore. Here is your action step. From this moment forward, treat every unexpected incoming voice as unverified, even if it sounds exactly like someone you know. If you get a call like this, say these exact words. I am hanging up and calling you back on the number I already have. Then do it. Use the number already stored in your phone or written in your records, not the number the caller gives you, the one you already had. That is number 1. That is the technology. Now here is the moment it turns personal. Number 2. The family emergency call. The cloned grandchild. The child. The friend. The misconception here is simple. People think a scammer can fake a text message or an email, sure, but not a family member's actual voice on the phone. That is no longer true. The FTC has warned that scammers are using AI to enhance family emergency schemes. Here is how it plays out. Your phone rings. The voice on the other end sounds exactly like your grandchild or your son or your daughter. They are panicking. They say there has been a car accident, an arrest, a medical emergency. A second person gets on the line, someone claiming to be a lawyer, a doctor, a police officer, and tells you money is needed right now. Wire transfer, gift cards, cryptocurrency. They tell you not to call anyone else. They say there is no time. No legitimate emergency works that way. No real lawyer demands gift cards. No real hospital asks for a wire transfer before treatment. A woman I heard from, Elaine, 68, a retired elementary school secretary outside Tulsa, got exactly this call. The voice sounded like her grandson. The caller said there had been a crash and a lawyer needed $12,000 immediately, $7,000 by wire, and $5,000 in gift cards. Elaine was already reaching for her keys, but she stopped. She hung up. She called her grandson on the number already saved in her phone. He was fine. He was at home. He had no idea anyone had called using his voice. $12,000 protected in one afternoon, because the callback happened before the payment. Even the FBI's 2025 recognized figure for distress scams within the AI category topped $5 million. And that works out to more than $416,000 a month. And that is only the part victims recognized and reported. Who does this help most? Both groups, but it leans toward fixed income viewers. This version wins with emotion before analysis. It does not require the victim to be wealthy. It requires them to love someone and to pick up the phone. Here is your action step. If you get a panicked call from anyone claiming to be family, hang up and call that person directly on a number you already have. Or call another family member who can verify. Ask 2 words. Are you okay? If you spot the scam, report it at reportfraud.ftc.gov. That is number 2. The fake grandson call is frightening. The government version is colder and often far more expensive. Number 3, the benefits and badge version, Social Security, Medicare, IRS, and law enforcement. I need you to hear this one carefully because this is where the scam changes shape entirely. The family version hits you with panic. The government version hits you with authority. And for millions of Americans who depend on Social Security or Medicare, authority plus the threat of losing benefits is the most effective weapon a scammer has. Here's how it works. You get a call or a text or an email from someone claiming to be with the Social Security Administration, the IRS, Medicare, or the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General, that is HHS-OIG. They tell you there is a problem. Your Social Security number has been linked to criminal activity. Your Medicare account is compromised. Your benefits are about to be suspended. They may give you a real SSA employee name. They may text you a photo of a badge. In April of 2026, the SSA Office of Inspector General warned of a surge in imposter scams, where criminals are using real SSA employee names and fake badge images. None of it is real. No legitimate government agency calls you to demand immediate payment or threaten suspension on the spot. The IRS says the first way it contacts a taxpayer is generally by letter or notice, not by phone, not by email, not through social media. Medicare says if you get a call, text, or email asking for your Medicare number, do not share it. And the SSA warns that scammers may threaten to suspend your Social Security number, seize your bank account, or claim they need payment or personal information to activate a cost of living increase or other benefit adjustment. No real agency does any of that on an incoming call. None of them. Ever. In 2025, seniors reported more than 8,600 complaints about government impersonation scams to the FBI. The losses reported by victims 60 and older in that category reached $413,206,251. That is about $34.4 million a month. Older Americans, losing $34.4 million every month to people pretending to be from the government. Who does this hit hardest? This is the surprise section for the fixed income group. If your monthly stability depends on Social Security or Medicare, the threat of those benefits stopping is terrifying enough to override every instinct you have. That is exactly what the scammer is counting on. Here is your action step. If anyone calls claiming to be from Social Security, the IRS, Medicare, or any government agency and demands action on the call, hang up. Then say these words to yourself or to whoever is nearby. I do not verify benefits or identity on incoming calls. I will contact the agency myself. Then go to ssa.gov/scam or oig.ssa.gov/report or irs.gov or medicare.gov/fraud or call 1-800-MEDICARE at 1-800-633-4227. You verify on your terms, through a number or website you found yourself, not through a number someone gave you on a call you did not initiate. That is number 3. And here is the part most people miss. The fake voice is not the theft. The transfer is. Number 4, the extraction phase. Move your money to protect it. This is where the scam collects. Everything before this, the cloned voice, the fake badge, the panic, the authority, all of it exists to get you to this moment. The moment someone tells you to move your own money. Here is the misconception that makes this work. If I move my money myself, it is still under my control. It is not. Once you wire it, send it as cryptocurrency, withdraw it as cash, or load it onto gift cards, it is gone. You did the transferring, but the scammer chose the destination. The FTC published data showing that among older adults who reported losing $10,000 or more to business or government imposters, 41% said a phone call was the initial contact method. That is not email. That is not a pop-up on a screen. A phone call. A human voice. And the payment methods tell you exactly how the money disappears. 33% cryptocurrency, 20% bank transfer, 16% cash. Now here is the number that should stop the comfortable group cold. Combined losses reported by older adults who lost more than $100,000 each in these imposter scams rose from $55 million in 2020 to $445 million in 2024. That is an increase of $390 million in 4 years. In just those high-dollar cases, the losses reached roughly $37 million a month. And the FTC says some people over 60 reported emptying bank accounts and clearing out 401ks. Not losing a few thousand, emptying everything. This is the surprise section for the comfortable group. If you have real savings, a brokerage account, a retirement fund, equity in a home, the move your money to protect it instruction is built for you. The more you have, the more they take. No one is too informed or too financially stable to be immune to a script that combines a cloned family voice with a fake federal agent and a demand to act before the call ends. Nobody from any legitimate agency will ever tell you to move your own money to a safe account. That instruction does not exist in any real government process. If you hear it, you are in a scam. Full stop. Consider a retiree named Leonard, 74, outside Dayton, a retired machinist. Leonard got a call from someone claiming to be with Social Security and law enforcement. They told him his identity was tied to a criminal case, and his accounts were at risk of being seized. They walked him through moving $86,000 from his savings account and $42,000 from a brokerage account into what they called a protected federal holding account. That is $128,000 total. His daughter walked in during the second transfer. She asked who he was on the phone with. She picked up the phone, hung it up, and called the bank herself, using the number printed on Leonard's bank statement, not the number the caller had given him. The bank froze the outbound transfer before it settled. $128,000 protected. Because one person in the room said that is not how this works. Here is your action step, and this is the one I want you to write down. If anyone tells you to move money to protect it, stop immediately. Call your bank or brokerage using the number on the back of your card or on your statement. Use these exact words. I think I may be in an imposter scam. Put a hold on outgoing transfers and tell me what to do right now. That sentence can save your retirement in 30 seconds. That is number 4. The good news is this scam still breaks at one point. The last section is that point. Number 5, the break point. The stop script, and the first 30-minute recovery plan. This is the section I promised at the beginning. The one that determines whether a terrifying phone call costs you nothing or costs you everything. Here is the misconception that keeps people silent. If I was almost fooled, or if I sent money, it is too embarrassing to report. That silence is the scammer's last weapon. The FTC found that only 4.8% of victims of mass-market consumer fraud complained to a government entity or the Better Business Bureau. 4.8%. That means for every person who reports, roughly 20 do not. And because of that silence, the FTC estimates the overall cost of fraud to older adults in 2024 was somewhere between $10.1 billion and $81.5 billion, depending on how much underreporting you account for. Even the low-end estimate works out to more than $841 million a month, lost by older Americans. Most of it never reported. No one is coming to check on you after a scam call. No agency follows up automatically. No bank reviews your transfers and flags the ones that went to a criminal. Every step from here is yours to take, and the faster you take it, the better your odds. Here is the plan, in order. First, if you sent money or shared account information, call your bank or brokerage immediately using the number on your card or statement. Tell them you believe you were targeted by a scam. Ask them to freeze outgoing transfers and flag the account. Second, file a report at ic3.gov. That is the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. The FBI says rapid reporting can sometimes support recovery, but recovery is often difficult once the money is gone. File anyway. The report creates a record and can help investigators connect your case to a larger pattern. Third, file at reportfraud.ftc.gov. This feeds the FTC's national database and helps trigger enforcement actions. Fourth, if you gave out your social security number, go to identitytheft.gov. That site will generate a personalized recovery plan. If you shared your Medicare number, report it at medicare.gov/fraud or call 1-800-MEDICARE at 1-800-633-4227. If the scam involved someone impersonating Social Security, report it at oig.ssa.gov/report. Fifth, if any personal information was exposed, your Social Security number, your date of birth, your bank routing numbers, place a fraud alert or a credit freeze. A fraud alert lasts 1 year and can be placed by contacting any one of the 3 national credit bureaus. A credit freeze lasts until you lift it. Both are free. Who does this help? Everyone. Both groups. But it helps most the person who thinks the shame of being targeted is worse than the loss itself. It is not. The scam is designed by professionals to override your judgment. Reporting it is not a sign of weakness. Silence is the only thing that guarantees the money stays gone. That is number 5. So here is the full picture. The $352,496,231 in AI-related losses reported by older Americans last year, and the technology that lets a criminal build a convincing copy of a familiar voice from a short clip posted online. The panicked family call that sounds real because the voice is real, cloned, not impersonated. The official-sounding Social Security, Medicare, IRS, or law enforcement call designed to make you believe your benefits or your freedom are at risk. The instruction to move your own money to protect it, which is never a real instruction from any real agency. And the fast response plan that can stop the transfer, contain the damage, and begin the recovery before the window closes. Every one of those costs people money only when it goes unchallenged. Your family's voice is not proof anymore. A government name is not proof. Caller ID is not proof. A badge photo is not proof. A text telling you to protect your money is not protection. Being frightened into action and being given a real instruction are 2 completely different things. The gap between them is verification, and that is exactly where this scam breaks, every single time. Now I want you to picture one person, a parent, a grandparent, an older neighbor, a friend from church who still picks up the phone when family calls, and who worries every time they hear the words Social Security or Medicare. Share this with that person, not because they are gullible, but because this scam is built to hit people who are responsible, protective, and fast to act in a crisis. The better the person, the better the scam works. Share this with one person over 60 who still believes a familiar voice or an official caller ID means the call is real. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.